Hey team, welcome back to another episode of the Jenn Commandments podcast. I am your host, Jenn Wien. I'm an engineer currently working in Wisconsin. I grew up in the Chicagoland area and I went to college in Michigan. No, but fucking for real, how are y'all doing? It's been a crazy week. It's been like a crazy out of character week for me. Uh but I think that's the price of growing or something. I don't know. Maybe sometimes you just act out of character, and maybe that's okay. Um, but that's good. That's me. I don't know. Oh my god, y'all was up in arms in my comment section, and that's okay. Hey, that's your right. That's your right as an American citizen to be up in arms in another fellow citizen's comment section. But consider this. I see the same bullshit on your side that you be posting. And I don't think to comment because I know that I'm not gonna change your shitty mind. Okay? Let's start there. Let's start there. I Y'all be posting crazy memes, y'all be posting crazy Christian shit that like Jesus himself wouldn't agree with. Do you know what I fucking mean? And it has never once crossed my mind to be like, I should write a think piece in this comment section. Did you really think that you was gonna change my mind? I'm very clearly like my thoughts and opinions about things have never changed. Okay. Well, actually that's a lie. Okay. So back in the Dizay, right? I used to back when I was in a very conservative household, um I very much subscribed to very conservative right wing like red pill like pick me. I used to be very, very, very deeply embedded in that system, right? So when people now feel betrayed that I don't have those ideas anymore, I understand it, but I want you to know that like this is not new now. My radicalization or whatever you want to, the sudden interest and like open-mindedness that I've found with actually being around people who like have clearly never not struggled in their lives, like clearly they have struggled and they have experienced hardship in their lives. I think that when people express like socioeconomic privilege or white privilege or any sort of privileges, like we all have varying degrees of privilege. That's where like intersectionality comes in as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Not to whoop out like the fucking RA training of it all, but like um whatever. So it really and I truly do think that those RA trainings were a big part of me really understanding how different backgrounds really come together in some sort of melting pot in college. And so like when conservatives really push this like them colleges are pushing that liberal agenda, you know what I mean, like really in it for real. I understand how it could be perceived that way if you've never gotten to experience the university like go off to college experience. And like if you experience any sort of like ROTC during your college years, like you don't count because you're being brainwashed by the government during that time period too. Who said that? Me laughing at myself in my own apartment. Take a hit every time I laugh at myself in my own apartment. Anywhoozles, where was I? I was talking about being radicalized in college. And so truly, like, at least for me, so if you were like a financial aid warrior, um and like had grants, or like didn't but still like you stayed in the dorms your first year, and then like for me, I wanted the free room and board, so I was like, hey, I'm really trying to be an RA dough. Like I'm really on that dough. I've been watching Upstairs Neighbors a lot, so if if I like am mimicking their manner, oh my god, I love them. I've been obsessed with them lately. Please go watch Upstairs Neighbors. Anyway, um I was an RA, and you're truly seeing all types of students in a residence hall setting. Like, and then additionally, I worked as a resident manager, and I worked as a resident manager in a hall at Western that is for non-traditional students. So like I would have a lot of international students, or I had a lot of like older students, just like any, if you're not like straight out of high school into college, but you still need like residence hall living, um that like I managed that hall. Anyway, um and so I got to see people from like all walks of life in college, and I think I think the more types of people, the T is, bitches, I ain't been conservative in a hot fucking minute, okay? And when was the last time that I advocated for a fucking thing that made you fucking think? We open ourselves up. We all listen. When you put yourself on any sort of platform, when you advocate for something in any sort of fashion, when you that is a part of this. That is a part of putting yourself out there. And I don't mean it in like a morbid way, but like, motherfucker talk shit, get hit. America is built on that concept. America is built on brute force and brute, just like masochistic murder. And that's what we contribute. That is our mass contribution to the world. Like, I hate to be really morbid about it, but like, we supply, we have like, I don't know how many military bases. Team team let's bring out the big mama laptop. Let's do a Google search, okay? How many, I'm doing this one-handed, one sec. Actually, I hate that I can't just put you like a old house phone. Y'all old enough to know. I see my demographics. I know most of you are, actually. All right, wait. Uh, okay. How many U.S. base military in the world? 750 military bases in over 80 foreign countries, bro. In case you were fucking wondering. And hey, Charlie Kirk was an advocate for that. He was an advocate. He said, hey, motherfucker, I think it's worth it. Them deaths, them deaths that be happening, I think Weapons are so important. Mass killing artillery, okay? I think that shit is worth it for mass shootings to happen, for kids to get shot in schools nearly every fucking day. He was an advocate for that. So listen, amongst other things, by the way, that's that it doesn't even have to be about children, bro. He hated plenty of other people too. Me being one of them. He'd tell my ass to get in the kitchen, bro. Fuck him. And y'all finna be mad at me because I posted a Facebook status quoting him. Quoting him? Mind you, I didn't say a negative fucking thing. Hey, that's fucking exhausting, by the way. Block me. You don't got to hoot and holler on the way out. Anywho. So I just had to get that out there. May he rest. May he rest the way he deserves. I don't know. I hope that his wife and his kids get some fucking therapy. But they're probably against it. They probably think that that's like antichrist like or some shit. So I don't know, bro. I hope they figure it out though. Dante, he's got a little bit of like stuff around his eye. So I took a hot or not hot. I took like a warm washcloth to it yesterday. I'm gonna give him like a warm bath today, and well, it's more like a shower because I y'all. So I have like a really big kitchen sink, and Dante's small, so I just bathe him in that. And it works. I like it works well, and it's sort of fun. So he'd be taking showers now, and it's fun. We have fun. I think it's easier for him too. It feels more like the groomer, um, and so I think that's easier for him at the end of the day. Um, And yeah, so that's fun. We'll do that. If it doesn't, so once I have it all cleaned off tonight, if it comes back again, I'll take him to the vet on Monday. I've made that because like I we've talked about this. We've talked about this. I'm such a person where I'm like, let it try to heal on its own first. I don't know what that is. Well, I guess I don't want to spend the money on it, but like that's my baby, so I should just go. I should just go. But I'll wait until Monday. I'll wait until Monday. That's my. I think it's allergies. He's sort of like a diva. I don't know. We'll see. I think we have been talking briefly about how I've sort of been like down in the dumps lately. And I think I forget sometimes when I'm not traveling that this time is just as valuable as the time that I am traveling and I am spending time with people because I like as much as I do things and enjoy my own company. Hello, did I just say that right? Enjoy my own company. I don't know. I just think that sometimes I'll forget that there's a lot of value and there's a lot of growth that's to be done during this time period. And I know that sounds so fucking corny, bro. Um, but it's true. Like this time period that I have or that I have been having between like summertime and then like now fall is really busy as well. And I think that I during that time or during this time, this beginning part, I forgot that I'm supposed to be feeling not shitty. I don't want to say that growing it feels shitty because it does and it doesn't. To like really take some time alone to evaluate yourself and be like, okay, here's what we need to work on, right? When you're doing it for an extended period of time, it gets exhausting, and it starts to feel, you start to get a little hard on yourself, well, because you've been spending so much time in in the back room, like reflecting and whatever, that I think that here's what I'm imagining right now. Take a hit every time I make myself laugh. Okay, so when when you go get film developed, and at the beginning, bro, at the beginning of that time alone in that dark room, when you're developing that film, I think you're not sure if everything's gonna come out right. You're like, oh, I don't know, maybe this one's broken, I don't know, you don't know if that shit's gonna develop for real. And I think I'm finally at a stage of the time alone where I'm like, oh, that shit's developing real nice. Like, I don't know. I'm finally feeling good about the last, I don't know. I think there will be like 6 consecutive weeks that I'll be here or something. Like, I don't know. I've been here now for like a long period of time, a longer period of time than probably I've been here since winter. Or probably early spring, but like I've been busy since like probably April, and then I was done. I think most of August and September I'll be here. I will not have left Appleton area until the end of September or sometime. Because I don't have like a huge support system here. I know a few people here that I like generally talk to sometimes, and I've been working on getting to know other people, but because of that, I spend a lot, and I work remote. I spend a lot of time alone when I am up here. And honestly, as much as sometimes I'm sort of down in the dumps, feeling depressed, I don't want to identify as somebody with depression anymore because I don't think that I have. I certainly don't get in multi-month long stints of like whatever spiraling I used to do, right? uh, I don't do that anymore. um but I do have cycles, you know um and I think something that I've been working with, right, is like happiness is not a destination, right? And I know, again, corny as fuck, but it's true. Like, I think happiness is an emotion, so sometimes you're gonna feel it, and sometimes you're not gonna feel it. You know, um, and similarly to depression, I think depression or sadness, grief, I guess, is a good word. Like whatever I'm feeling, I think those are feelings too, so they also cycle out. It's always going to cycle out. Like, I promise, you know. Um and so I'm coming towards the end of this long stint of me being alone, and I'm like, okay, Slay. Okay, Slay. And that could be me just being excited for the next time that I have stuff planned with people. But what I really think it is me coming to terms with being happy on my own and really trying to find happiness in my own presence. And I think that there are times that I forget that that's the whole point. Clock it. I mean, like, I arguably, yes, life is about like your friends, your family, your blood relatives, whatever you decide is your support system for this life. That time spent with those people is very important. but the relationship that you foster with yourself, and that checking in with yourself of like, hey, how am I feeling about these things? How are they bleeding into relationships that I have today? Like, and how can I work on that if it's something that I'm not super happy with? Um, I'm seeing a lot of that start to play out with my relationships, and I'm happy about that. I'm excited for this new phase where I'm starting to see people again. I feel like that's my little treat for I've been spending the last 2 months. Well, it hasn't been 2 months yet, but will have been 2 months really working on like fitness. um, I've been starting to get into selling Depop clothes again. If you could see the coffee table, you would see a stack of clothes very high, of clothes that I need to take pictures of so that I can post them. Like just and that's sort of like my winter hobby that I figured out that sort of helps me from winter depression is like thrifting, like Depop selling. I make some extra money. And it's like it's a fun thing that keeps me out and about. I don't know. It's sort of there's other people around, but I don't have to talk to them. Like I don't know. I yeah. So I've been sort of transitioning into fall, winter, Jen, and getting cozier and like getting into those hobbies again, whether that be like video games and painting and that sort of thing. So I don't know. Geez, I just rambled, but that's what this whole podcast is. So with that though, I think that it would be really helpful for me to sort of create a transition back into home list or something. We might have talked about this on the pod before and I just haven't done it. So it's good that maybe I wrote it down. Um we'll see if I actually do it. Um of habits that I know that help me get back into the like home routine, because I really struggle with that transition period. I think that's when my sadness or down in the dumpsness really like festers, is during that, like it might even extend like a week and a half sometimes. It depends on how long that I've been traveling, like how many consecutive weekends that I've been seeing people, trying to make sure that I keep up with the podcast and like working, that I don't really have time to I'm distracting myself from my growth. And as like I think I still go to therapy during those time periods and like all that sort of stuff, but I do think that when I'm here for consecutive weekends and I'm spending more time alone to reflect, I'm likely exercising a little bit more, just like that sort of thing. That I'm doing substantially more self improvement during these like home times. And that's not to say that the time spent with my friends and family isn't priceless and like endlessly valuable to me. It's just that like there's still a lot going on in my noggin. You know what and like that stuff just doesn't go away. Like it's still gonna be there, and it's still gonna need to be worked through. And I think that that's what I mean by like happiness isn't a destination. It's more just like, and not to say that these times when I'm not in solitude that I'm not happy. It's just different. It's like content. It's a different type of joy, you know? I don't know. And that's why I think, not to, always have to bring like dating. That's a part of being who I am. Like I'm a girl in her, mid 20s now. We're going to talk about confidence too. That's a part of the things that are coming into fruition that I'm talking about, um that we're going to get to. That's why I think that dating is sort of really hard for me, because I'm so content alone. And I know that I have time I have times where um I have, like, I don't know, periods where I'm sad. But like, let me tell you something. The last thing that I want there next to me is a man complaining about how I'm sad, or feel the need to have to hide that from somebody. I think for me, a part of why I've struggled so much to date before is because I felt the need to put on this facade of who I am. Um, and I felt the need to pretend, um, that I could or would be a like perfect housewife or whatever. And I think it's hard for me now because I'm a little too honest about myself. And I'm learning the balance, obviously. Um and I think I've got like what I've been talking about is I've been doing a better job of letting all that, not letting insecurity be the center of things are going to work out however they're going to work out. And and like having full confidence in, if they don't work out that way, it's not a reflection of my worth. Does that make sense? Because like I famously, right? Famously, I might not. It's so weird. I Another thing that I've been battling with lately is that like battle between how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you, because to me, because I know my inner dialogue, because I know all parts of me, I know the unedited footage of me. Because by the way, this podcast is edited, so I'm not perfect like that in real, not that the podcast is perfect by any means, but like, do you know what I mean? We were talking about the balance between self perception and how others perceive you. And I think that's why for so long I was so obsessed with how others perceived me more than I cared about my own, arguably more than I cared about my own moral compass. And mind you, like I feel like I still had a pretty decent moral compass, but I felt the inner turmoil of being feeling othered or whatever, you know? I always felt just like on the fringe of all groups. You know what I mean? Anyway, fuck, does it even matter? Hello? What's the next point? One of my notes in here is SpongeBob gay question mark. Bro, okay. So I watched this video. Oh my god, I'm gonna link it. So if I'm gonna link it, please go watch it. She's so funny. Or they, I don't know their pronouns. It is such a funny video, dude. I guess that it's something that I didn't really notice. Okay, as a child, my mom always didn't like me watching SpongeBob, but I didn't know why. Okay. My brother always loved SpongeBob, so I was always allowed to watch it, but my mom did complain. Okay. So then this fuck ass video, this fuck ass video comes along. And so apparently the New York Times did like a big hit piece or something. Maybe it wasn't the New York Times either. I don't fucking know. Go watch the video because I'm retelling the story bad. They do a great job. Okay, but so the New York Times writes like a hit piece, right, about how gay men love SpongeBob. Then the creator gets asked about it. He sort of gets asked this like, well, you see, you know, the guys really like your shit or whatever. I don't remember how they asked it. Okay, but that was the gist of the question. Okay, the queers, the queers are liking the stuff, and damn, bro, the creator is like immediately diverts to Squidward, which is funny because Squidward is like a token gay stereotype character. He lives very much like I do. Uh, he like loves dancing. He loves music. He plays the clarinet. I don't play the clarinet, but like paints. I don't know. Like I'm sort of Squidward coded, okay, but like also very gay man coded, okay. I, I'm not one to deny the gay man allegations, bro. How did I get on that? Oh, so he immediately diverts to Squidward, but then also just sort of sums up that like SpongeBob is sort of about inclusion at the end of the day. Like all of the characters are sea animals or like inanimate objects, right? Like sexuality isn't like a, big thing on this kids show, you know? And Squidward was like very gender fluid. And so the video details key episodes that highlight how SpongeBob is one, like gender fluid, confirmed asexual, and like confirmed Bert and Ernie situation with Patrick, right? Like, duh. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's pretty obvious. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Go watch that. Excellent fucking video. Also talks about like union stuff and I don't know, just like Mr. Krabs shit and like how some of us could be radicalized by that. Also, I don't know. The next thing I want to talk about is circling back to feeling like I'm in a phase where I value myself so much that like other people's okay, so when all of the like Gilio stuff first started happening, I really very quickly and like probably but still not as quickly as it should have been to not cause some damage some damage um had to detach myself from other people's validation, um good or bad. Neither of it fucking matters if you don't like yourself, right? So like because no matter how much good or bad attention you get, you don't think you made the right decision, or if you're the one that has to face the repercussions, you have to be the one that is 100% behind whatever you are saying, doing, whatever, being. And that goes for everything. That doesn't just go for like posting online. That goes for just like existing. You are yourself. And wow, right? Very, very fucking philosophical thought. But you have to sit in your body all day, every day. And if you are doing it for the validation of others, you're never going to be satisfied, I guess. I watched this other guy. His name is Tanner. So funny. He lives in Chicago. I'll also link that episode too. And I I've been sort of feeling anxious as I've been recording the podcast because we've been like talking a lot about my vulnerability, and he made an episode and something really stuck with me. That's why I've sort of been anxious. Not just because of that, but just of like how much of myself do I want to share? And like I know that part of the magic of, or like whatever you all get out of listening to me babble into the microphone is because of my vulnerability. So I don't want to strip that away from what I talk about either. But it is such a balancing act of figuring out what I'm comfortable with. And like, just know that if I ever come up onto this microphone for 30 minutes one week and talk about my insecurities, and maybe I like, I don't know, tear up about it or whatever, there are 46 other hours in that week where I feel like a bad bitch. Okay? Like I don't know. Insecure, like, as much as I am I have moments of insecurity and moments of being like reminded of the traumas that were, or the things that I used to feel about myself, or things that maybe I still do feel about myself time and time again. And that's when sometimes I talk about it or whatever because it's been on my mind. Just know that it's all a cycle, baby. Like, I know who I am. Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay, so this dude, I don't know. He just made like a silly comment, and I was like, "No, I don't feel that way. I know I'm hot. Like, I'm pretty sure I straight up said, like, I know, baby. I don't have the internalized misogyny, and of course I do to a certain extent, but I've done so much work to unlearn that as well. I love so much of myself, and there are times where I may not feel like I love all of myself, but there are times and there are days where I love most of myself, and every inch of myself gets loved throughout those ebbs and flows, right? And so if I'm not feeling it today, baby, tomorrow you best believe I'm gonna. I like, yeah, like we cool, and it's gonna take time for you to be able to, like, I don't know, really affect me. At this stage in my life, I think I'm really confident and sure of a lot of things about myself, and like obviously I internalized it enough that I'm talking about it right now. So like I internalized it enough that I'm talking about it, right? That's enough. Okay. But it's not, I'm like, "Oh, that's about you. That's not about me." You know what I mean? Where it's, or I guess a better way to put it is like, it's just a reminder that like a lot of the stuff that people say is just like such a reflection of their outlook on the world as opposed to like what you should think about yourself living in their world or whatever. Sometimes shit just be coming out of my mouth. I'm like, where did that come from? But yeah, I don't know. It's been a it's been a crazy week. I've had a crazy week. Um and I'm handling it well, I'd say. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of navigating it in the ways that I know, in the ways that keep me challenging myself, but also not projecting insecurity, I guess. I'm figuring out how to manage that in a way that acknowledges the fact that I have attachment issues and like keeps that in the back of my mind at all times and is like, hey, you need to know what you got going on and know that this is safe to explore, but within these parameters. So like do some exposure therapy. I don't know. You're going to regret not living your life if you don't, you know. Scare yourself, challenge yourself, do some things that are hard. Okay? I love you guys very much. Drink some water, brush your teeth, wash your face, eat a veggie. Or I don't know. Do what you need to do, you know? Love you.